I'm going to present on social protection in Kenya. And basically, I'm looking at the proxy means testing. And this is because as Kenya, we have an objective of achieving universal health coverage. And this is one of the tools that is likely to be adopted for us to achieve that universal health coverage. So basically, to give the background in terms of the legal and regulatory framework that we have put in place, we have the Vision 2030 blueprint, and this basically entails detailing how much and where we want to be as Kenya by 2030. We have also put in place the Kenya Health Policy, some sessional papers, and then there is also another policy we are calling Kenya Universal Health Coverage. And recently we enacted the Social Health Insurance Act now, which will basically be addressed by this paper. So according to the Act, we have established a framework of management of social health insurance, and we have established an authority which is going to be in charge of ensuring that every Kenyan is able to access the health. So the Act mandates that every member should be registered by the fund, and they should be able to make the contribution. So, and we have three types of categories. The first one is a mandatory contribution for those who are employed, and basically they are supposed to contribute to the fund 2.7% of their gross income. Then the next category is the non-salaried households, and this basically the informal households, and also they are supposed to contribute to the fund. So how are they going to contribute to the fund? We are going to use the means testing instrument to determine their ability to pay and how much they can be able to pay. And then the third one is if they cannot be able to pay to the fund, the government will chip in terms of social protection, whereby the government will contribute some funds for that households, so that the poor households can also benefit from the health coverage. So the objectives basically of this paper is to develop this means testing algorithm for two purposes. One is for targeting the poor households, and then the other one is to determine the ability of informal households to pay. And basically that means that we are going to use the model to predict income of households. Then we have the specific objectives, which I have detailed them. Again, some background on social protection in Kenya. The three key policy measures under the National Social Protection Policy, we have three of them: the social assistance, social security, and health insurance. So under the social assistance policy, there are those 5 programs which are already in place. And we have an enhanced single register whereby we continuously update so that we can be able to identify the benefits. But this one was done some long time ago, like 10 years ago. So the first model that is being used for targeting, it's quite old. And this paper now aims to provide some solution in terms of updating the model. And then the health insurance now comes in under the social policy, because we are now saying that we want to achieve universal health coverage, and this is through providing health insurance. And basically we have been using a mix of targeting strategies, which mainly include geographical, proxy means testing, and this is also going to add to the existing work. So what we are this paper, basically we are looking at some consumption data set. We are using the household budget survey data, and the first thing we had to explore which one is able to give a very good model. We had to explore 3 data sets. that the 2015-16 Kenya Integrated Household Budget Survey. The existing proxy means testing used the 2005-2006 Kenya Integrated Household Budget Survey, but this one now we had to explore between 2015-16, 2020 and 2021 Kenya Continuous Household Survey, which one is able to give the best model that can be able to predict a household's income. And we are using the lasso regression, both for variable selection and model fitting. And basically what you are using as the dependent variable is the equivalence adult expenditure per adult equivalent expenditure, which we are taking as a proxy to income. So, and that's the model that we have, the lasso in the regression form. And our objective, of course, is to find the best set of covariates that can be used to predict a household's income. Basically, to add on the lasso, we have done the 10-fold cross validation, and that basically entails splitting the data set into test and train with a ratio of 80% of the data set for training and 20% for testing. And basically that's to see how well the model can be able to generalize. And in terms of training the model, we've done the cross validations. And in addition to this, we fitted 3 different set of models, one for rural urban, one for rural areas, another one for core urban, and the other one for urban, just to cater for heterogeneity across the consumption in different households. So I think we already in the finding, we are already in the findings, and this is one of the good net of fit statistics that we had to use so that we can be able to identify or to justify which data set is suitable for fitting the model. And basically we set on the 2021 CHS data set. Of course, it's because it's giving us a higher predictive accuracy, and also it's the most recent data set that was also available for our analysis. And then basically some findings in terms of the model performance. I've tried to present for the 3 models. These are 3 different models with different poverty correlates. So we have the rural, we have urban, and we have the core urban with their corresponding R square. Then maybe just to highlight some key findings from the model, we find that some determinants or some poverty correlates were very significant, especially when you look at if a household is using electricity as the source of main lighting. We found that income that is 6 point higher in rural areas and 18.8% higher in urban areas, where 34.9% higher in core urban areas. This basically means that those households which are using electricity as the source of main lighting, use of electricity it plays a very critical role in terms of determining how much a household is earning. So these are the poverty correlates. Also owning a car came out very strongly. And then households which are using rudimentary wall materials. You can see those households also which were using rudimentary wall materials basically were coming out as a bit poor. And you can see their income is lower in rural areas compared to other households. Everything else held constant. Also, the level of education for the rural households, we also find that for those households which are headed by heads who have college education and above, their income is also likely to be higher compared to other households. And of course, the issues to do with the composition of the households, and then the regional disparities in terms of where is the county located. Also, we are able to see the location effect in terms of the income of the households. And I've highlighted 1 or 2 counties. That is, we have Busia, which is somehow one of the poorest county. And you can see for those households in rural areas, they are likely to have less income compared to other areas. Then we have another county, for example, which was a bit rich, and you can see it's being in a rural areas is also likely to be richer compared to other counties. Then the last thing that we did on sensitivity here, and it's basically in terms of the targeting, we tried to the predicted income. We had to subject it to the threshold, poverty threshold, or the poverty line, for us to see how the distribution of households at different targeting levels or percentiles. And basically, with the goal of minimizing exclusion errors, you find that it's relatively quite good. And exclusion errors, of course, you can't. The objective here, when you are doing the sensitivity analysis, you have either to minimize the exclusion errors, or you hold it constant so that you can be able to see how the inclusion error is behaving. And that's the end of the presentation. The details are in the paper. Thank you.